Junkies!
We're talking about forgotten games. Like maybe a month or so ago, Dido was kind of just rummaging through his head with, because he got all these games that, he's always wanted to play and he used to play back in the day. And he was like, hey, we should do a topic about forgotten games. Like, remember those old PC games? There's literally like hundreds and thousands of them. Most of them were shovelware, but some of them were really good. And there's a lot of lost IPs out there that we enjoyed playing back in the day when we were younger on the PC that really kind of deserve a second chance at life. We're not talking like the really popular ones like Prince of Persia, because you haven't forgotten them.
That's not forgotten.
That's not forgotten. You're not talking about Alone in the Dark either, because
not forgotten.
Not forgotten either.
Yeah, both of those had movies. So.
But we're talking like something like, say, because Lucasfilm doesn't exist anymore, Lucasfilm Games, excuse me, doesn't exist anymore. We're talking something like a Day of the Tentacle or Maniac Mansion,
or Leisure Suit Larry.
Or Leisure Suit Larry. Well, you can't even say Leisure Suit Larry anymore because Leisure Suit Larry's got Leisure Suit Larry hasn't been forgotten.
Kind of new. He's not forgotten at all.
He's not forgotten at all. Like, he goes down in history as one of the first really enjoyable, quote unquote, adult games that all the kids were wanting to play when we were on PC.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we're talking like Maniac Mansion, Full Throttle.
Full Throttle.
Jill of the Jungle.
Jill of the Jungle. Like, okay, so give us some of yours, Dido, that you really wanted to play.
You know me, I like platformers. Those are the biggest and the greatest go-to. I'm sorry, we're all gamers here because of platformers.
Yeah.
And if anybody says anything else, if they're in our age, they're full of shit. Because Atari, NES, 100%.
Television, ColecoVision.
Most of them were platform. I mean, the older ones couldn't do platforms that well, but regardless, NES platformers, we were playing platforms regardless.
Yes, we were.
Jill of the Jungle was a platformer. Started a woman, her name was Jill, and you platform through stuff. It was a PC game, and when I say that, it's because PCs have always been more powerful than consoles, but for some strange reason, in the 90s, up until like Wolfenstein or Doom, it didn't really show that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there was not really any scrolling going on. Mm-hmm. Like, you had that. You had Commander Keen, which was another, I think, really fun.
That was a great game.
Yeah, and Epic, who made it, is still around. And I don't understand why they didn't bring back Commander Keen. Jazz Jackrabbit is another one, which they took Sonic the Hedgehog and gave him a gun. Before Shadow. That's what they basically did. But like, those games I find are very much forgotten. There's this one game that I was trying to remember the game. It was a strategy game. Actually, when I could play, not quite real time. I think it was turn based, and it was not like fantasy. It was like guns and stuff. I can't remember the name of it. It would take me a while to get to it. But
you know what? Dido had provided us with a link to a website. Where you can play a lot of like thousands of old games right there in your browser. So he's going to share the link with you in the in the Twitch chat or in the Discord, excuse me, and share it with you guys.
Do people have the links to the Discord?
Yeah, the producer's been doing a great job sharing the link in the chat to get to the general channel. So, but in any case, a couple of ones that I saw out there. Drizzt was talking about Blaster Master. But Blaster Master
that's not forgotten, bro.
It's not forgotten.
Yeah,
even for what you call it, because they just came out with remakes, part 1, part 2, and 3 is coming out on the Switch.
Was that you or was that you
that
unboxed
it? He unboxed it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you unboxed it for. Okay, yeah. I also saw
check it out on our YouTube.
Takeem mentioned Vector Man. Which was cool, but I mean, doing something like Vector Man when things have, I don't know, gone beyond.
Bro, they could make a great Vector Man game if they wanted to bring it back.
I think the appeal was that it was kind of like newer technology.
No, it was
like
just that. It was just because it was trying to compete with like the graphics of Donkey Kong Country. Now, they did some cool ass shit in Vector Man that you didn't see. Like, I think it was Vector Man 2, and one of the bosses is like overhead, and you just have to. I wish I had a video of it because I wish we would have talked about and knew what we were going to talk about Vector Man coming up. Yeah. But it's completely forgotten because they made 1 and 2 for the Genesis. Nothing for the Saturn, nothing for the Dreamcast, nothing for. It's just. You can go on and on about Sega forgotten games.
Oh yeah, well Driz brought up Blackthorn for the SNES, and Laurie brought up Contra.
Contra, I wouldn't say it's forgotten.
It's hard to say Contra's
Not forgotten. They just came out with a new one for PlayStation 4, and it's garbage.
Yeah, Contra's not forgotten. They just mishandled it.
Yeah, it's very much mishandled.
But you can say that about a lot of Konami games now. So
Konami is all about pachinko. They don't care about
sure are, which is kind of a shame. Bubsy,
yes, the Boogerman.
That's a good one.
No. Bubsy just got a remake for PlayStation 4.
Yeah, PS4 game.
Yeah,
wow,
PlayStation 4.
Okay.
But Boogerman most definitely is forgotten about, as well as somebody who was in Clay Fighter with Boogerman, Earthworm Jim. Completely forgotten about.
That's true.
And Clay Fighter, if you want to talk about Clay Fighter.
Honestly, you're speaking of
3 Clay Fighter
Earthworm
games,
Jim, and Earthworm Jim was from a company called Interplay. Interplay was one of the best publishers of PC games back in the day. Like, let me read off a list, and they've got a lot. Yeah, they did Alone in the Dark, and I think Alone in the Dark has been, or at least Interplay probably was bought by somebody. So the license to Alone in the Dark went somewhere else. But they did Baldur's Gate, Boogerman. They also had Carmageddon. Is Carmageddon? Wait a minute, Carmageddon. Is that recent?
No, Carmageddon was PlayStation 1 era, and I don't think they made any other ones since then.
Okay, yeah.
MDK.
Clay Fighter. Obviously, a lot of people that, if you play it on PC, this was like one of the most popular games, PC or Mac, Descent.
Yeah.
Descent was like one of the biggest games back in the mid to late 90s.
Made me sick. I couldn't play it.
Of course, you have this whole motion sickness thing.
Just thinking about it.
Interplay also had the Star Trek, the Star Trek license, and they made that really excellent Star Trek 25th anniversary game, which was like kind of story based, but it was like an adventure. It was really cool. They did Fallout. They had Fallout back in the day. But they also had a couple of games that I think have stood the test of time of being really, really cool and innovative. Flashback: The Quest for Identity, and Out of This World. Both of those were Interplay.
Yeah, those are pretty good games.
Yeah. Now these are one-offs. Like those were one-off. Well, actually, no. Flashback got a sequel. Got a sequel at one point, but it wasn't nearly as good as the original.
Yeah,
the original was a phenomenal.
Is
piece
on that
of
list
making.
MDK, because I believe MDK was also
MDK.
MDK was a Interplay game. First came out on PC. I remember seeing it on PC, and it came out on PlayStation. And MDK 2 came out on Dreamcast and PlayStation 2. And that's completely been forgotten about.
Heart of Darkness is on this list.
I saw somebody put River City Ransom. That game is not really forgotten about, because if you've played River City Girls, it has the characters that were in River City Ransom, as well as many Kunio-kun games. That's an entire series of games.
So MDK is not on the list of Interplay games.
I could have sworn that was an
What about
Interplay
Age of
game.
Empires?
Age of Empires is not forgotten.
Age of Empires, you can't really say it's forgotten, because those are
They're still making them.
Yeah, they're still really popular games. Like, we were talking about Sid Meier, who was a very popular game designer back in the 80s and 90s, who did Civilization. Civilization
Oh,
isn't
no.
forgotten.
Shiny did
MDK.
MDK. They're the same people that did Earthworm Jim.
Interesting.
So yeah, Sid Meier did the SimCity, which isn't really forgotten, but they don't really put out games like that anymore. Well, actually, no, it's not true. It's got a mobile game, so it's not forgotten.
River City Girls is a beat 'em up. It's on the Switch, I believe PlayStation 4 as well. You can get it digitally. It's a fun game, and it's very River City-esque. And they're coming out at a part
Very
2
much
recently. But the Kunio-kun series has been around for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
What's the name?
Renegade.
Renegade is one of the. They changed it when it came over here, but it was a Kunio-kun. Super Dodgeball is a Kunio-kun game.
Yes, that was my favorite back
Yeah.
in the day.
Rise Star Fallen, yes.
Yes.
But like I said, we can go on and on about Sega.
Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
Wolverine had to bring it
yeah.
up. Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail.
Yeah,
Oregon Trail.
I think Laura has brought it up,
Yeah,
and
she
then
brought it up earlier.
and also
Where in the world's
she also
Kansas
brought up Lemmings.
Yeah, Lemmings was
Lemmings was that
definitely
one
forgotten
I could
about.
never get into, but everybody seemed
You know,
to love.
they did come out with a Lemmings spin-off game for the PlayStation called The Adventures of Lomax. That game, I wish I bought it when I worked at Media Play, because it's stupid expensive now.
That was one of those super weird, rare ones.
Yeah, and it's just a platformer that
Lomax?
they came out with. The Adventures of Lomax. It's a
Adventures
spin-off of
of
Lemmings.
Lomax.
Hand of Omega says he remembers playing Moon Patrol on the PC at school.
I remember that too. I remember that
definitely
too.
forgotten about. A lot of those older arcade-like games, complete anything that was made by Bally Midway, gone.
Now, I have to dispute what you said about people of our age, because I didn't get into gaming because of platforming. I got into it because of shooters.
Which shooter?
Asteroids and Space Invaders.
And that's what hooked you?
And combat.
That hooked you completely?
Yeah, because I was playing against my older brothers.
And see, I played the NES stuff, not NES stuff, the Atari stuff as well, because like I was playing Pac-Man and Asteroids and stuff like that, but I don't think it hooked me until Super Mario Brothers came out. When Super Mario Brothers...
No, Super Mario Brothers was the pinnacle.
No, I mean, that hooked me. That put around me and said, get over here.
Oh, no, I liked gaming from the
And I'm not saying I didn't.
Yeah.
I
So
said I love gaming,
like
but
that,
it hooked
but
me.
not necessarily. Because when you said shooters, I thought you were thinking
first person.
like Operation Wolf or a Heavy Barrel.
Because all of that was arcade, and that wasn't going to happen even on home systems for another 10 years or more. But I played, like I said, Asteroids and all the various games against my brothers as a competition of just, because obviously Asteroid was just one player, but you had to wait your turn. So,
right.
I mean, I can see that, but like I said, before I had an NES, I also had an Atari, and I played the living crap out of those too, but it just felt something differently when Super Mario Brothers came. So maybe you're an exception to my rule. When you got your NES, you weren't playing platforming games.
You gotta, but no, it's not even just that. You also have to remember. Again, I'm not saying that I'm that much older than you, but I'm still a couple years older. So I was doing Atari, and then once arcades became what they started to become, I was in the arcades more than I was at home.
Yep.
Anytime my parents was going to any place, I was like,
okay, you could have figured arcade.
Yep.
I'm good.
I mean, we all grew up in that same kind of era. No, I get it 100%. Because I was in there. But like I said, maybe I'm wrong. When Super Mario Brothers, because I remember the day Super Mario Brothers. I remember the day I saw it for the first time. The NES didn't belong to me. I was at my uncle's house. It was a friend of his son brought it over, and everybody's barbecuing, playing outside. I'm in trying to beat level 1, 2 because it took me forever to get to 1, 1. And that was not the first video game I played because, again, Asteroids. I had Atari freaking 400, which was like a microcomputer. It played Atari. It was a game called Firebug. I had freaking what's the name of that freaking game? I can't think. Asteroids. But I mean, by the throat, and has never let go.
I know, and that's like I said, that's completely fair.
So Hannah Omega is he trolling right now? He says
he always trolling. He speaks as troll.
Okay,
that's his freaking language.
I won't say it. The arcade version of RoboCop and Ninja Gaiden was fire. I preferred the NES version of Ninja Gaiden to the arcade.
Yeah.
The arcade was cool.
Yeah.
But
you're talking about the original Ninja Gaiden?
The Ninja Gaiden that's to beat him up, which was
fun. I like
fun.
that one.
I liked it too, but I like the NES version.
I think
better.
the NES one.
Well, no, the NES was more to it, obviously, because the arcade one was a quarter muncher.
Yeah, 100%.
Boy, was
I have because they actually put it on the Wii. When I was buying games for the Wii, that's one of the games I bought. I was arcade Ninja Gaiden shit.
I remember getting that one for the Lynx.
Cassidy
they had it for the Lynx. It was perfect.
Yeah.
Cassidy said Dragon's Lair hooked him in. So you spent like $20 trying to beat it, and that's what hooked you. Because after I spent, if that game was going to cost me my one of my
that was
like maybe
$1
$3 or $4,
everything was
that was going to cost me one of my $3 or $4. I wouldn't play it.
But the thing about Dragon's Lair, once you got really good at it, it was memory. All it was just a memorization.
Right.
So once you got good at it, you could beat it on one credit, so to speak. So there was always that. Space Ace was another one that was just like it. Same company that released it.
Yeah, but we're still talking about games that kind of were forgotten.
Yeah.
Space Ace was forgotten.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Space Ace.
You know there was
not Dragons. They made newer Dragons Lair.
Yeah.
But not Space Ace.
The NES Dragon's Lair was so garbage.
Oh my god!
It's like y'all know football.
They tried to do that as a side scroller. What were they doing?
It didn't work.
No, it didn't.
The
I was super excited
terrible.
to play it too. And I was just like,
terrible.
That was bad.
But of course, Lori, Marvin's Marvelous Mechanic. We used to have an anime club that met at a bookstore that was next to Marvin's.
Right next door.
Everybody
went to Marvin's.
And just the anime club. We weren't even.
Only problem I had with Marvin's in their later years, they had no fighting games, no nothing. It was like they were an arcade, true enough.
Yeah.
But they didn't have any real competitive games. They just basically had like a whole bunch of test your luck and.
Yep.
No, they had Dance Dance Revolution. I'm sorry. I used to play
my
that
first time
when I
seeing
was
Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was at Marvin's.
Yeah.
I'm saying in their later years.
Oh, later years.
Yes, they had Marvel Capcom.
You talking about now?
They had
They're
Dance
still
Dance
around.
Revolution. I don't consider it.
I'm
Now,
not sure
granted,
they
Dance Dance Revolution is competitive.
Yeah.
I don't consider that to be like a fighting game, though.
Unless you're punching each other while you're dancing.
We punch each other with
Yeah.
They should come out with that one that was in Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
That
they should.
Combative ninja dance game that they had.
So the PC had a whole bunch of like story-based games that weren't about the twitch muscles. You kind of had to think. King's Quest was definitely one of those that was forgotten. I forget the husband and wife. They were on one of those gaming documentaries.
Roberta and forgot her husband's
I'm
name,
trying
but
to
they
remember what
basically
company.
started Sierra.
Yeah, Sierra was
the
Sierra was the company. They put out a lot of really great story-based games. Really great stuff that they
Willie
had.
Beamish.
Willie Beamish was the best. Willie
Missed that
Beamish was the
game.
best.
I played and beat it on Sega CD, and then later on PC.
I don't know. Not so from Sierra necessarily, but Karateka was really good. But I'm mad at the remake that they did because it just wasn't as fun as the original.
Remake of Karateka.
Yeah, they made it a 3D thing.
Was who did Karateka? Was that EA?
Trade West.
Trade West. Because I'm thinking of like when EA did Budokan. Budokan was a great game that I loved playing back in the day. But a lot of those games, because we were forced to use keyboard. We were forced to use keyboard unless you bought a Gravis gamepad.
Oh,
and if you
God.
bought the Gravis gamepad,
Worse.
you almost might as well have just
I need
used
to see
the mouse and
this.
keyboard.
Do you guys remember Typing of the Dead? That was my jam.
Typing of the Dead was
awesome.
great.
Again,
For the
Sega.
Dreamcast.
Yeah, Mario teaches typing is still to this day one of the favorite typing teachers of young children.
Really, they should Typing of the Dead should be that one. Because
Yeah.
it not only forced you to be fast, because if you weren't, you die.
Yep.
So
Hey, that's a good one. That's a good
Monkey
one. King
Island.
to King, yeah, Monkey Island. That's a really good one.
Monkey Island.
I don't think
yeah.
that's forgotten though,
I
because
think
I
so.
think they
That's
came
a
out with new
Lucasfilm
ones.
game.
It is, but I would have said Day of the Tentacle if you were going to talk about
I did.
Lucas. You said Day of
I
the
said
Yeah,
Day
you
of the
said that
Tentacle.
earlier.
Yeah,
Day of
earlier.
the Tentacle.
Yeah.
But like Monkey Island, I believe they came out with one on the 360, PlayStation 3, if
Okay.
I remember correctly.
Okay.
Which unfortunately is 2 generations ago, but still,
Driz brought up another one of my favorites, Legend of Kage.
That was NES though, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
arcade,
those.
arcade first, of course.
Was
but
it?
then NES.
Yeah, it was
I don't think I ever saw it in
title.
the arcade.
It's a title game. I think it's on the title collection.
Probably.
So
Really?
they have it at home.
Interesting.
The original was really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Again, it was a
Monkey
quarter
Island
killer.
came out on the Wii and Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, iOS. You can go ahead and download it.
Fallen Marvel brought up RoboCop versus Terminator and Alien versus Predator beat 'em ups.
But see, those aren't really forgotten.
Yeah, well, see, that's the
Those are
problem.
really popular IPs.
It's hard when you talk about anything that's licensed.
Yeah,
It very much
Because you
is.
can't
you
do
can't do it again.
more.
Yeah, unless
Yeah.
you buy the license.
Like
again.
think about all those Lucasfilm Indiana Jones games that they had.
I don't remember any of those actually being good.
I think okay,
neither.
the one that was based off of Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade was not good. Not good at all.
First of all, the best Indiana Jones game ever is the arcade one.
Yes.
Indiana Jones Temple of Doom.
Yes.
That's the only one that I
The
even
one for
acknowledge.
SNES.
Yeah.
Huh?
The one for SNES was made by the same people that did the Super Star Wars games.
But you see how we never really talk about it.
Yeah.
No, of course nobody really talks about it.
You see how we don't really talk
I've
about
already
it.
told you guys.
Right.
Just my basic opinion. When anybody talks about Super Nintendo games, it's always the same games. They never venture out
No, absolutely.
into certain, So,
Because the thing
That
is, I'm
one
gonna
is
be
not
100
one
percent
that was
honest.
talked
I don't
about.
even remember that game.
oh, it was there.
No, I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying, in the sense of Indiana Jones games,
Right.
the arcade game is my main one.
Right.
I don't remember the Super Nintendo one. I just really honestly don't.
I rented
Right.
it a long time ago, so I know it played like the Super Star Wars series of games. It was very similar to
That
that.
means it's super hard.
Yeah.
in
And
some
they came out with
ways.
Indiana Jones for Nintendo 64, which I just saw at the local video game store on their Instagram.
How much was it?
Expensive. It
I
was like
bet.
$150
Yeah.
or something.
Well,
That one would be super rare.
And again, they, in Indiana Jones and the Inferno Machine. That's the one I always remember the title. Never liked it, but
Indiana Jones was that on PC or was that?
it was a PC game.
Yeah.
It was on that and probably console or
Yeah.
whatever.
So Grim Fandango I think that's another Lucasfilm game.
It is.
That's
I
what I
don't
thought.
think it's
See,
forgotten.
there was a lot
Not
of
forgotten.
Lucasfilm games that we won't get to play anymore.
Jackal. I remember Jackal.
I remember Jackal too. I do remember Jackal too. Bloody Roar is definitely
that's
forgotten. Like that needs to come back for real.
Bloody Roar was good.
It was so
Grim
good.
Fandango came out on PlayStation 4, Vita, Android, iOS, the Switch, and Xbox One. That ain't forgotten.
As what though? Just a re-release of the original?
It doesn't say if it's a re-release, but it probably is a re-release. So re-release meaning it ain't forgotten.
Yeah. Either that or it means like, oh, hey, we got this license is free. Let's go ahead and re-release
Yeah,
this.
Xbox One. It came out in 2020. That was 2 years ago.
No, that's fair.
I couldn't let this go by before we get to the Power Genres without mentioning one of the best forgotten or old school PC games. One of the most popular ones that I loved playing, Wing Commander. Wing Commander was a series of games later starring Mark Hamill and even
They got a movie.
Malcolm McDowell. That got a movie. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't even want to.
I never saw it, but I know
that
they got a
was
movie.
so freaking bad. And true to form, it wasn't like the source material. It was kind of like the source material, but it wasn't really. But it wasn't really. But Wing Commander was one of the most popular games back in the day, made by Chris Roberts. Chris Roberts, who now is more known for his over $77 million Star Citizen project, which still has not had an official release.
It's beaten
Wait,
Duke
hold on,
Nukem
hold on.
Forever.
Is this a Kickstarter type thing?
Yes.
Hell no.
It started as a Kickstarter.
Give me my money back.
Yep. Still doesn't have an official release.
When did he start the Kickstarter?
That shit was back in the early 2000s.
Oh hell no! Kickstarter. No, see that? I'd be like, look, give me my money back now.
It's been going on for
Yeah,
forever.
Star Citizen in development still.
How you kickstarting for over 10 years?
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, when did it start? What does it say?
Let's see. The game was announced in 2012 through a successful
it's 2012.
Kickstarter.
That's 10 years.
Yeah, it's 10 years.
Yeah, pre-production began in 2010.
Hell no.
With production started in 2011.
What's the name of that game?
Star Citizen.
It ain't coming.
Like,
out.
ain't
nobody get no money.
I mean, it's an ambitious project, but damn, man, like, I need something. And I don't want to have to pay tooth and nail.
Hold on. So he hasn't sent out no artwork, no
No.
build, no nothing?
No. There's builds, but it's all alpha. There's no betas.
Oh, get out of here.
There's no betas.
Get out of here. If it's
There's no actual
is it just him
game.
work by himself or something?
No.
Man,
It's
he
crazy.
over there. He in the Bahamas
It's
chilling.
crazy. $77 million.
He found a place with no extradition, and he's just chilling off of that 77.
Delays
Yes,
and extended development. My
$77 million.
God.
All right, y'all.
Hey, we hope you enjoyed that clip. Make sure you check out our live content on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Culture Junkies. We also have a lot of content available on YouTube, unboxings as well as Blu-ray reviews. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Culture Junkies. And on top of all of that, if you go to culturejunkies.net, you can check out our merch store. The link is culturejunkies.net/merch. There's a lot of great merchandise there. So there's links and logos and stuff all around me. So check those out, and we will see you next time.